we be doing this powerful review, people, of Fate's Stay Night. This is going to be my review on the Fate Stay Night anime. I've been wanting to do this for a whole long time, especially after finishing its big brother Zero. I feel like I have to talk more about Fate Stay Night, as it's a very powerful series and very enjoyable, and I'd highly recommend it to a lot of people. So our main story starts with this as a Shiro Emiya high school student, but as he knows a slight magic from his adopted father, which he uses to good around the school, but actually gets involved with a battle between two powerful mages, and actually accidentally performs a spell to summon one of the most powerful summons known as a servant, Saber, and suddenly gets involved with a Holy Grail war where he has to go against 6 other servants and masters to win against this unimaginable power that anyone can have against their servants and their power. And being Shiro, he is not very a good mage, and with the most powerful servant Saber, it's going to be a very hard time, both of them trying to get the Holy Grail war. The story for me of Fate Stay Night really started shaky when I first started watching it, and it took me a while to start really loving this series, and it really didn't start to enjoy and get a little bit more good until Saber actually arrives in the series, just till around about episode 4. And then also as well, the series didn't completely win me over until there was a whole fight in a certain mansion somewhere. People have seen the series before, they know what I'm talking about. But one thing which really wasn't the anime's fault was that there was so much content, since this is adapted from a visual novel, and there is 3 routes in the visual novel, and I think overall it's 100 hours of this visual novel. It's a pretty long series, and they had a budget of 24 episodes, and also as well you can't really go that much in the Fate route, so some bits here and there had to be cut out, and this one does adapt the first route known as the Fate, since there are 2 others known as the Limited Blade Works, which was adapted into a movie, and the Heaven Field still hasn't seen an adaptation as we know of this time. So they did one route in 24 episodes, and yeah, with the timeline they did have to cut out some bits here and there. It doesn't explain some things too well, and I wish it did better, but it did have some great action, battles, characters, and also as well a slight bit of romance in the series, which I really did like that it added. Now, characters Fate Stay Night, I feel like you got your main 4, which is Shiro Emiya, who, yeah, it's a bit annoying. It does come off a bit sexist at first, saying, oh, women shouldn't fight and all that, as Saber's destroying buildings left and right. Yeah, it's like, oh, you can't fight. It was ridiculous with that bit. But Shiro did start growing to me as a character. I do respect his actions and why he's become the sort of person that he is today. I do respect that for him. But overall, it did take around about the same time as the series as well to actually start growing to like Shiro more and more as a main character. But for overall, as a main character, he's alright. He's a typical character for the most part. Saber is what I think is the main proper character of the series, and is the main attention of this. A badass, strong female role who is Shiro's servant, and shows herself to be a strong, proud king in the first episodes of her rather. And I feel she is the one that made this series, with her conflicts with her and Shiro, and it's how the two really developed was one of the best things about this series, as the two progress from servant and master to further on. And not to mention, she has one of the most amazing attacks ever, which is the Excalibur. That is one of the greatest things attacks about her. But definitely, she's a very, very deep character, and that's what I like about her. And I like that the Fate route, which is her route, was the one done, because Saber is a very enjoyable character. Rin Tozuka, the mage of Archer, who I'm not really that big of tsundere characters and all her tsundere ways, but I did find her to be a bit annoying for most part, but she did have her interesting moments to her, and she did have her likable parts to her, but it's not as much as Saber or some of the other characters, which is fine. They didn't really explore too much of her in the Fate anime, which is understandable as well, because this wasn't her route, since her route is explored in the movie Unlimited Blade Works, which, yeah, but you just watch that movie once, guys, just trust me, you don't really want to watch that another time. And then also as well, her servant Archer, who is also this silent, sneaky bastard of the Archer class, very cynical, and he's also comes off very wise, but when it comes down to a fight, he will get his hands dirty, and he has one of the most epic moments in the Fate Stay Night anime, and this is one of the things I respect Archer for throughout this whole series, is what he does later on, and he is such a fucking badass of this shit. It is so good. Animation is actually really surprisingly good in Fate Stay Night. For a 2006 anime being done by Studio Dean, who they don't really do too much apart from lesbians having a good time Sakura trick, it's actually a surprisingly very good animation budget it had, and it was actually probably one of the better ones of the time in 2006, and it actually still holds to itself 8 years later on, and it's still a good looking anime. sound in this series is amazing. It's godly. Overall, I really love the soundtracks in there, coming from like the openings to the endings, just to the soundtrack in general on Fate Stay Night. It works. It's good. It's powerful and it's emotional, and it has some of the best soundtrack. That is one of the best things about this series, is the soundtracks. And overall, I really came to appreciate Fate Stay Night a lot more now that I've seen Fate Zero, its bigger brother, and it made me appreciate it actually a lot more than I originally did, since like it opened up a lot more things for me. And true, yeah, I'm going this by just me seeing Fate Stay Night, not just after Fate Zero. If I'm going just for a straight series, like what I think is as a whole, it has really good, well fights, amazing, like most of the cast, like you have the Seven Servants and stuff are super freaking enjoyable. It has enjoyable sound, animation is good, that even this day and age, 8 years on, it still racks up really good. And yes, it does have a few flaws with the first episodes, and then the main character not being as that good, as enjoyable as other series ones. But it's like something that you just don't really pay. It's like, yeah, the first few episodes are lackluster and it cuts the story here and there, so some things won't be noticeable as you see during your first watch. But it has very powerful characters. The ending is beautiful. It has really great fights and all that, and it is, this series I feel will bring a tear to your eye. And for all the elements that it has, like action, romance, slice of life, mystery, you know, magical, all this world, like all this stuff that they add in, they do it right. And sure, they stumbled on a few things, but for all the elements that they added into this route, it was a very good series, and I very much enjoyed it. And for what the review I'll give for this score, I'll give this one an 8 out of 10. It's a very good series, and I'd highly recommend it for you. But then, as well, it's just a great experience. And then, as well, its bigger brother, Fate Zero, is a fucking masterpiece, and you'll see my review on that pretty much soon. But the next review I shall be doing on this channel will be either Fruits Baskets, which I still haven't yet to see yet, or I'm going to be doing Fate Stay's older brother, Fate Zero. But thank you very much for watching as always. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think of this review. Name me any recommendations you want to see, any series reviews I do. But that's all for me. I want to thank you very much for watching. And remember, I'll see you guys next